Baskervilles, continuation of Chapter 5. I was thinking about this on the way back to the hall when I heard my name called. Running up behind me was a man I did not know. He was slim and quite small, clean-shaven and fair-haired. He had a butterfly net in his hand. "You must be Dr. Watson," he said, panting. "I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Stapleton, of Merripit House. Perhaps my friend Dr. Mortimer mentioned me." Mortimer did tell us about a naturalist called Stapleton. "But how do you know me?" "I was visiting Mortimer, and he saw you from the window. I came running out, and I thought we might talk together. I hope Sir Henry is well." "He is very well, thank you. We were all very sad about the death of Sir Charles," he said. "Such a good man. I hope Sir Henry is not superstitious. You know the legend, I suppose?" "Yes, I have heard it. The people who live here are very superstitious. Many of them will swear that they have seen a monster on the moor at night. I'm afraid Sir Charles believed the story too, and with his weak heart, well, it was very sad." "How do you know that?" I asked. "Dr. Mortimer told me," he replied. "Do you have any other explanations?" "Does Mr. Sherlock Holmes?" I looked at him in surprise, but he just smiled. "We know about the famous Mr. Holmes, even here in Devon," he said. "And so we also know about his friend Dr. Watson. I am very curious what Sherlock Holmes thinks of it all." "I'm afraid I can't say." "Will Mr. Holmes be visiting us?" "Not at the moment. He has a lot to do in London." "Oh, what a pity! I'm sure he would have some interesting things to say. But if there is anything I can help you with, Dr. Watson, please ask. If you want to discuss any ideas you have, I will be more than happy to listen, of course." We came to a point where a grassy path led away from the road. Mr. Stapleton pointed to it. "My house is that way. If you have an hour free, perhaps you would like to visit. I would be happy to introduce you to my sister." Sir Henry had a lot of work to do, and I thought that he would certainly be busy for a while, so I accepted, and we walked along the path. "The moor is a wonderful place," said Stapleton. "So big and empty, so mysterious." "Do you know it well?" I asked. I came here 2 years ago, which is not long, but I like to explore. I know the moor as well or better than anyone else, I would think. It is a hard place to get to know. For example, do you see those hills in the north?" He pointed. There was a wide open space, very green, and past it some low hills. "That is Grimpen Mire," he said. "It looks very attractive, doesn't it? But the ground is wet there, and one wrong step can mean death. I have explored it, though, and can find my way right to the middle of it." "Why would you want to if it is so dangerous?" "Those hills are surrounded by the mire. They are like islands. But that is where the most interesting plants and butterflies are, so that is where I must go." "I may explore there myself one day," I said, but his face was suddenly very serious. "Do not try! You would almost certainly die." At that moment a strange sound came to our ears. It was sad and frightening at the same time, and sounded like nothing I had ever heard before. "What on earth is that?" I cried. Stapleton looked at me with a strange expression on his face. "The moor is a strange place," he said. "The locals say it is the sound of the Hound of the Baskervilles. I have heard it before, but never so loud. Yes, the moor is a strange place. Take a look at the hill over there, for instance. Do you see those stones?" I looked where he pointed. The hillside was covered with many stone rings. "Those are the houses of prehistoric man." They have no roofs now, but the walls are still there. Quite a little town, isn't it?" Suddenly he gave a cry and dashed off into the mire after a butterfly which he had spotted. I could only stand and watch and hope he did not fall into one of the dangerous places which he had described. As I stood there, I heard steps behind me, and turning, I saw a woman on the path who could only be Miss Stapleton. She was very beautiful, but quite different from her brother. He was fair-haired, with grey eyes, but she had dark hair and dark eyes. She was slim and wonderfully elegant. I lifted my hat and was about to greet her as politely as I could, when she spoke first in a low voice. "Go back," she said. "Go back to London." I could only stare at her stupidly. "Why should I go back?" I asked at last. "Just do as I tell you. Go back and never return to the moor again." "But I have only just come, good lady." "Go back immediately. I am trying to save you." "Hush! My brother is coming. Do not say a word to him." Stapleton came back to us, panting after his chase. His eyes glanced incessantly from his sister to me. "I see you have met Beryl," he said to me. "I was just telling Sir Henry that he should go on the moor earlier. When the light is better," said Beryl. "I'm afraid I'm not Sir Henry. My name is Dr. Watson." She blushed. I'm afraid I misunderstood the situation," she said. "I thought you lived here and were not just a visitor. Oh, my apologies." A lot had happened, and I wanted to get back to the Hall as soon as possible, to think and to write a report for Holmes. When I reached the road, I was surprised to find Miss Stapleton waiting for me. She was red in the face and had clearly been running to get ahead of me. "Dr. Watson," she said, panting, "please forget what I said earlier. I should not have spoken so." "I can't forget what you said, Miss Stapleton. I am Sir Henry's friend, after all." "Why do you think he should go back to London?" "Oh, no reason, Dr. Watson. It was not important." "Miss Stapleton, I remember your voice and the look in your eyes very clearly. Please be honest with me. I can see that the moor is a strange and perhaps dangerous place. Tell me what you meant, and I will tell Sir Henry for you." "It is nothing, Dr. Watson. I just worry that there is some bad luck for members of the Baskervilles family in the Hall." "Unless there is something more definite, I cannot tell Sir Henry this," I said. "But tell me why you ask me not to tell your brother what you said." He thinks it is very important then that a Baskerville lives in the Hall," she said. "He would be very angry if he knew I was trying to make Sir Henry go away. But now I must go back before he misses me." And with that she turned and ran back before I could speak again.